Hello, it's Miss Seichter. I'm going to show you how I go about making blackout poems. Blackout poems start with a book page or something else with text, and you repurpose those existing words into a new combination of words to make an original poem. With the newly created poem, the remainder of the background is blacked out with marker or Sharpie. Some people, instead of blacking out the background space, will accentuate the poem with drawing or mixed media techniques. In order to get started, I flip through a book and find a page. If you don't have a book handy, you can find magazines, newspapers, or anything else with writing or text on it. Once I have my page, I quickly skim for anchor words, or words that pop out because they're colorful or loaded with meaning. I lightly circle those words with pencil so that I can erase extra words I don't use later on. Then I go in and mark any connecting words, or words that can help make the anchor word form a cohesive sentence. I lightly underline these. Don't select too many words in a row, otherwise you're taking too much original text from the author. When connecting the words to form a sentence, you might want to make sure your words flow from the top of the page downward, as you normally read. If you don't do this, the viewer might mix up your poem. If you want the viewer to read your words in an order that they may not normally read, which is usually up to down or left to right, you'll have to connect a pathway that the viewer knows which order to read your words. Once I have enough words to form a short poem, I circle my final words with Sharpie and erase the circles around the words I don't use. Your poem can range anywhere from a simple to a complex poem. It can make sense or it can be a little more nonsensical. Lastly, you want to decorate the background of the blackout poem. You must use mixed media techniques by incorporating at least 3 different art materials into one project. Depending on your strengths, you can draw a realistic scene, a cartoon-like illustration, or an abstract design with different lines, shapes, or patterns. You can choose typical materials like pencil or Sharpie. However, you can use tools in my classroom like paint, oil pastel, chalk pastel, colored pencil, watercolor, or construction paper for more of a collage composition. If you're not sure which art media to go with, I suggest Googling photo references or inspiration and learning from what other people have experimented with. Steal what you like from those artists and repurpose that. So steal like an artist. Here, I demonstrate that by painting tempera paint over my background. In order to make sure I didn't paint over my words, I cut small pieces of tape to cover those words as a sort of resist. I made sure that the paint was a little watered down so that we could faintly see some of the text showing through. In taping my words so that they wouldn't get covered over, they later appear brighter than everything else in my drawing, creating a point of interest. You could also outline the words of your poem in really bold Sharpie as another way to make your poem stand out from the illustrated background. Once dried, I use pencil to lightly sketch my related illustration. I chose this bedroom or workplace scene because it accentuates my poem by being a safe, cozy space. Then I outline in thick and thin Sharpie. This allows me to make very thin lines and thick lines in some areas for emphasis. Then I use a lighter colored pencil to make my bedroom scene have a warm light source. I color in the window, the cast light from the window, and highlights on nearby objects. And this is what my final blackout poem looks like.